Yai lai 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 ya lai lai ya lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 ya lai lai yai lai 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 lai. Hello, friends who want to learn a bit more about our prayer, Modeh Ani, or Modah Ani, if you are expressing yourself as female, is the way we say I give thanks. And it is the first prayer that we are inspired, hopefully, to say just upon waking, even still in bed. We're going to go in a little deeper and look at the Hebrew of this prayer and learn how to read the Hebrew better in our Siddur, and also learn the familiar way that we sing this prayer in the morning, so that you could do it yourself at home. You could lead it at a prayer service in our congregation. That's a wonderful mitzvah. Here's a picture of a pillow. It's for sale in Israel. I found it online. And of course, Modeh Ani is usually talking about a boy, and in Orthodoxy, the boys would be required to lead prayer, to say this prayer. So here we see the words of the prayer on the pillow that might be on a little boy's bed, to remind him the first thing he should do when he gets up is to say these words: Modeh Ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam, shehechazarta bi nishmati bechemla, rabba emunatecha. And you can see there he's doing netilat yadayim. He's doing the ritual washing of hands, which follows the Modeh Ani prayer. So that's a little merchandise from Israel you're seeing that you might get for a child if you are living in that world. Here's another example of a beautiful artistic expression of the Modeh Ani prayer. First thing in the morning. This is a watercolor by Etta Rotenberg. It's really lovely. The tree trunk and branches are oriented to look like the letter Shin, so that the three there, so you might get that feeling. Shin is also, we see it on a mezuzah, the letter Shin, meaning a shomer, a guardian of the door, or Shaddai, which the three letters stand for Shomer Delet Yisrael, guardian of the doors of Israel. So Shin is an important letter when you're thinking about God, thinking about gratitude. And here we see the words again: Modeh Ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam, shehechazarta bi nishmati it says I v'hemla rabba emunatecha, and that represents slightly different wording in Ashkenazic Siddurim, in Sephardic Siddurim, and you can see there are more Hebrew words there too. There is actually a second verse to Modeh Ani in a traditional Siddur, so that's also extra learning there. Let's take a look at how young children may learn about Modeh Ani, not just the Hebrew words, but the action of being grateful and thankful. And this Miss Emily is a wonderful educator of young Jewish children, and she writes this song, which she leads in kindergarten and preschool students. Modeh, Modeh, Modeh Ani, I'm as grateful as I can be. Wake up each morning, the first thing to say is to thank you to God for this day. Then she has the children think of things to be thankful for. Thank you for the trees. Thank you for my parents. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for the sun. And it can go on and on, as many things as kids can think of to be grateful for. And that's a great lesson for us. I think we forget as we grow older that the practices that you might have had as a young child to kind of make you more aware of Modeh Ani, more aware of being personally grateful for the things surrounding you, for creation, and things that are there in your life at the moment when you wake up. And so hopefully This helps you remember the child in you that can do that, that can be automatically grateful and have joy in seeing all those beautiful things. So right now I am looking at the beginning words of our prayer. So let's take a look more closely at the Hebrew. You can see my cursor here. Modeh. Modeh. Again, I was saying that modeh is the masculine form of to give thanks. And I think behind my head down here, oh, there's a little, let me just see here. Behind my head, if I can move it, you can see Modeh Ani. Modeh is the feminine version. Maybe I'll leave myself over here for this slide. Okay, so Modeh Ani or Modeh Ani, and we translate that as I give thanks. So Modeh is the word for thanks, giving thanks, and Ani is saying I am doing that. I am giving thanks. And moving on, the next word we have is lefanecha. Lefanecha. Let's take a look at what that means. Lifnei means to be in front of, before something. Who are we in front of? When we add the echa, we're saying we are before you, in this case, God. Lefanecha, before you. So far, Modeh Ani lefanecha. I give thanks before you. We move on to this word melech. Melech, you've heard many times in many blessings, and it literally translates as king. However, you need to think about, for you, what is God to you? King might not be a good fit for you, so you might want to think of a different translation for that. You might think a ruler, a great spirit, a great guide. So think about your own definition for melech. Next word we get is chai. Maybe you have a necklace with this word on it, with chai, because it means life, or in this case, living. We're talking about a melech chai, a living ruler or living guide, creator. And the last word, vekayam. Vekayam, well, ve means and. So the word is really kayam. What does that mean? And eternal. This ruler, this king, this sovereign is living and eternal. So that's the beginning line. Modeh Ani lefanecha, melech chai vekayam. Let's go on to the next slide. The next words in this Modeh Ani prayer are Shehechezarta. Shehechezarta. That's a little hard to say. It reminds me of when we say Shehechianu, Vekimanu, Vegianu to mark a special occasion. Let's read it again. Shehechezarta. And what does that mean? It means, God, you have returned something. You've returned something to me. We're going to see what that something is. Shehechezarta. Oh, you have returned it within me. So the b is within, inside, or with. And the yud there refers to, it's like the end of ani. It's within me, be, in me. Shehechezarta bi. Here we're getting to what was returned. So nishmati. Nishmati. Well, you know, or you've heard the word neshama. We can see its root there. That is, of course, our soul. And the little sound E, or the yud on the end, is saying it's my soul. You have returned within me my soul. Be-chemla. We just talked about how the be means with or in. What's chemla? With compassion. So this line is reading, Shehechezarta bi nishmati behemla. And let's go on. The last two words of Modeh Ani, Rabbah. Rabbah, which means huge or abundant. And the last word, emunatecha. Emunatecha, your faithfulness. Rabbah emunatecha, your faithfulness. Great. So the whole idea of Modeh Ani is we want to begin our day with gratitude. As Rabbi Shefa Gold says, starting the day with gratefulness opens our heart to the blessings of wonder. Let me share a bit more of her thoughts with you. She mentions that this is found online at myjewishlearning.com, Rabbi Shefa Gold's words on Modeh Ani. She reminds us that every spiritual tradition acknowledges that how we begin our day matters. Our routines, our resolves, and our determination, and our discipline, and what we do and how we arrange the rituals of our morning really does matter. Each day, she says, she wakes up with an intention that when she opens her eyes, she will see and recognize God's face in the details of the day that she's about to encounter. She says, if her very first expression is gratefulness, rather than seeing what's wrong today or obsessing over how much I need to get done, then I step onto the path of blessing and I prepare myself for wonder. With the first phrase of the prayer, Modeh Ani lefanecha, I open to the miracle embedded in the day that's being given to me. And with the second phrase, Melech Chai v'Kayam, or Shefa Gold changes the word Melech to Ruach, which means spirit, living an internal spirit. Ruach Chai v'Kayam. She acknowledges that although her whole world is in flux, there is a great spirit, eternal, enduring, moving through all of it. And with the third phrase, Shehechazarta bi nishmati behemla, she becomes receptive to the gift of consciousness from the compassionate one and opens to the sense of being seen, known, loved, and fully accepted by this great mystery that embraces her every day. The last phrase of the prayer, Rabba Emunatecha, is taken from the book Eicha. This is the book of Lamentations in chapter 3, verse 23. And she says, when she experiences God's faith in herself, she gets a glimpse of the widest possible, longest perspective. And in that glimpse, she feels calmed. She relaxes the frantic grip on her day. She stops trying to figure it all out and she begins to trust the flow of inexorable change. Change is always happening. It's about being open to it, and being grateful is a great way to begin that. All right, let's take a look at these words again. Goodness gracious, and I am in the way. I'm going to move myself over. I don't think I can get myself out of the way. Uh-oh. Okay, I think that's the best I can do. We're going to have to remember that last word is emunatecha. All right, here we go. Modeh Ani lefanecha, Melech Chai v'Kayam, Shehechazarta bi nishmati behemla, 2 times, behemla, Rabba Emunatecha, Rabba Emunatecha. Rabba Emunatecha, just showing that you that Emunatecha that is there. Thanks so much for digging in a little deeper to Modeh Ani, the very first words of gratitude for morning prayer. And have a great day.